So, Kess has redeemed Storytime, which means for anyone who doesn't know what Storytime is, it means essentially I have to read out loud something that I wrote. In this case, a snippet from a story called Revaramek the Resplendent, which is we'll call it a fantasy comedy about a dragon named Revaramek. We're going to read several pages until we get through all this. The very, very, very TLDR backstory here is that Revaramek has decided to try and help protect a city that's about to be under siege by the bad guy's army. And there's a knight there named Elrond that Revaramek always refers to as the tea kettle because his armor reminds him of old metallic tea kettles. And Elrond is a character that is very inspired by stuff like Monty Python and Princess Bride and sort of like that kind of comedy. So he can't hear it all when he's got his helmet on, and he talks in very weird, old-fashioned terms and such. So this is the arrival of the tea kettle. We're gonna switch to display capture for this so you can read along if you like. We're going to be starting right here with farther down the road. And here we go. We're going to pause after this. We're going to go hit the bathroom and such. But before that, story time. Further down the road, on the other side of the gate that led to the cathedral, a man in full plate armor jogged down the road. With every step, the metal clanked and rattled around him. Revaramek flattened his ears back against the noise. No wonder the man couldn't understand a thing anyone said with a cacophony like that rattling his brain wherever he went. Behind the tea kettle were another dozen men matching his pace, trotting behind him in perfect formation. Each wore a red and blue tabard over heavy chainmail. They all had swords at their hips. A few had axes on their backs, and several carried pikes. Revaramek came to a stop, staring. That was different. When Becca and Tavat ran up to either side of him, panting for breath, Revaramek waved a paw at the incoming guards. Look, the tea kettle's got competent men this time. Tavat took a few heaving breaths. I think those are as usual men. They're just taking it seriously now. Revaramek strode forward, calling out, Tea kettle! Hold it right there, we need to talk. Becca hissed through grit teeth. Don't call him that out loud. Charge! The armored knight drew his sword and sprinted towards Revaramek. Not me, you idiot! Revaramek stopped, wings flared. Wrong dragon, sir! Have at thee, beast! The tea kettle kept coming. Oh yeah, the bad guy also has a dragon. So the tea kettle is already confused about which dragon he's supposed to be fighting. Revaramek reared onto his hind legs. His hind legs, I don't know whether that's hind legs long? Whatever. Revaramek reared onto his hind legs and beat his wings. I think I just left that in there. This is somebody else's PDF they made, so I don't want to change the PDF, but the resulting gust that swirled around the armored man was enough to end his charge and rock him back on his heels. As he wobbled, the dragon dropped back down, surged forward, and thumped his horned head into the tea kettle's armored chest. Clang! Revaramek was careful not to hit him too hard, just enough to send him tumbling backwards. He hit the ground with an ear-scraping rattle. Ah, lads, right me, quick! I'll have his ears off for that! Two of the nearest men hoisted Elrond back to his feet. One of them repeated his earlier call. It's the wrong dragon, sir! The knight waved an armored hand. You've spied the thong wagon? Nonsense. This is hardly the time to shop for skimpy undergarments. Frankly, I'm appalled such a thing roams our fair streets. Wrong dragon! The man who'd helped him out shouted into the side of his helmet. This one is green. I know he's obscene. The knight shrugged them off. I recall quite clearly the foul things that tumble off his tongue. Green! Mean, yes, that too. This isn't the first time he's knocked me on my tushy. Why, last time we weren't even in combat. He swung an armored fist, narrowly missing one of his own men. And disrespected Lady Morel. Why do you think I want to knock some sense into him? Listen here. Revaramek lowered his head to try and peer through the thin slits of the man's armored visor. We're all on the same side now, Tea Kettle. pea nettle? The man jerked his head back and forth. That sounds very uncomfortable. He slowly uncurled it, a single gauntleted finger, then shook it stiffly at one of his men. But that's what happens when you gallivant about with a new lover every day. Don't think I haven't heard the stories about you and your maidens. The ruddy-faced soldier stared at the finger. I ain't been with no one but me wife. He's over there, sir. One of the men turned him back towards the dragon. Right. Thank you, Jeeves. I'm Jeeves, sir. A man behind him waved. What? The knight spun around, facing a third man. I'm Bart, sir. Elrond twisted around once more, armor clanking, and ended up shaking his finger at the same ruddy-faced man as before. Let this foul creature be a lesson to you all. You spend your nights making whoopee with women you scarcely know, and you'll end up feeling like you're peeing nettle, just like this disgusting thing here. Revaramek arched his neck, gazing down at the whole group. Why the hell do you even put up with this? It's funny. His father founded the brigade. 'Cause me old gran married his old da. Revaramek groaned, wanting to hide his head beneath his wings. Old gran is a running joke. One of the men who'd helped the knight up stepped forward. Actually, he's got a good heart. And rather a ceremonial buffoon with a heart full of kindness than a cruel taskmaster like they had before. He's just in charge of the Gate Brigade anyway. Dragon tilted his head. Huh. Starting to think Asterbury had slipped him into the story just to make conquering this town easier, or just to screw with you. The soldier scrunched his face. Who's Asterbury? He the one riding the other dragon? Correct. A grin broke out across Revaramek's muzzle. Finally, someone who didn't need everything explained to him every step of the way. Becca stepped forward, circling a finger in the air. Rev says he's the one who created all that massive lightning. What? Elrond stepped forward. Revaramek glanced at her, flattening his spine. Becca, don't... Massive? Becca put a hand along his head and mouth. Lightning! What? The armored knight tried to look down at himself over his shoulder. Why, yes, my ass is tightening. I've been working out, thank you for noticing. Surprised you could tell with my armor on. But you know how I feel about that gutter mouth. Doesn't befit a lady. Why not try substituting fanny next time? That's part. I always find it more satisfying to grasp for a less obscene, less commonly used word. That's why I always grasp for tushy. He tilted his armored head. Wait, that sounds terrible. See what your gutter humor has done to me? That's it. Revaramek settled onto his haunches, put a hand on the knight's armored shoulder. The helmet is coming off. While Elrond flailed ineffectively against the dragon, Revaramek grasped his helmet with a free paw. He pulled it straight up and away from the man's head. As soon as the steel rose, it unleashed a tidal wave of red facial hair as the biggest walrus mustache Revaramek had ever imagined spilled forth. It washed across the man's face like a bristly crimson ocean, matched only by the flowing locks that rolled down the back of the knight's head, and the massive mutton chops that battled valiantly with his mustache for territory. What the hell? Revaramek stared at the knight's mustache, his muzzle hanging open. He turned the helmet over and peered inside it. Where have you been keeping all that? I've never seen him without his helmet before. Becca stared, as slack-jawed as Revaramek. Tevat slowly tilted his head as if trying to take it all in. I didn't know humans could do that. Tevat's a lizard man. How do you fit it all inside this thing? Revaramek shook the helmet a few times, half expecting more mustache to fall out. I shall take that to mean you are suitably impressed. Oh, gods, yes, it's glorious. Finally something I can agree upon with you, dragon. Now, if only I could convince the lads. I've got to tell Morel. The good knight should have a proper mustache. She'll never believe me. Revaramek waved his paw over the knight's face. It's like you've got an entire nest of woolly red caterpillars living on your face. Well, I'm not sure I'd put it that way. Knight snatched his helmet back from the dragon. No wonder you can't hear anything. That mustache must get stuffed into your ears when you put your helmet on. Where is Lady Morel? You'd heard the most terrible news, and then that other dragon attacked and... Oh, right. Revaramek clapped his forepaws. Ilaril. She and... The dragon stared at the knight a moment. Revaramek had a sneaking suspicion that while the knight might be able to hear without his helmet, he wasn't going to be able to handle complicated explanations any better than before. He cocked his head, trying to imagine how a knight might be addressed in a children's story. She's the evil dragon, and she and her villainous rider have taken up positions behind Lady Morel's tavern. As for Lady Morel, she's elsewhere, marshalling an army of griffins, or so he hoped. As the hero of this story, I'm about to go confront the villains, so I'll need you and your men to wait and assist as needed. He spread a wing, waving it towards the hill where the council hall once stood. I believe the villainous cad has ill intent for your dear council, so some of you should make haste to protect them. Right, the knight spun around, facing his men. Ready arms, lads. You lot, go protect the council. You two, stay here with me to provide support for the dragon against the, other dragon. As most of the group broke away to find members of the village's council, Elrin lifted his helmet. Revaramek reached out and put a paw on it to prevent him from donning it again right now. Now, bear in mind, this villain has a great deal of powers. Elrin clicked his tongue. Cursed villains. They always do, don't they? They do? Revaramek pulled his head back. Right-ho, they do! Elrin curled his gauntleted hand into a fist with great effort. Why, once there was an evil wizard and a captive princess, and he wove his foul magic into all manner of poisoned tarts and sweets, and only the brave knight and his faithful talking... You are from some children's story, aren't you? Revaramek thumped his tail, the spine scratched the cobblestone. I knew it! What are you on about now, dragon? The knight pulled his helmet back on. Never mind. Revaramek snapped his teeth. Look, this villain is too dangerous for you. I don't want you to be the nameless knight he obliterates just to demonstrate his power, so don't engage unless I call for you. In that case, she'll be serving as distraction. Ah, bit of the old misdirection. Well, something like the old switcheroo. Revaramek blinked. No, the old gobsmack in the dark. I don't know what that is. The old donkey punch? Definitely not. In fact, I don't think you know what the old soup can switch. Now you're just spouting nonsense. Revaramek growled loud enough to drown out the night. Just follow me into the tavern and wait there to see if I need you or not. Got it? Got it. Elrin turned back towards his men. You heard the dragon, lads. To the tavern and keep low. Get ready for the old two-step bum swoggle. Did you hit your head when you tumbled out of that picture book you came from? Revaramek eased away, glancing at Becca and Tvat. I hope you two are clear on that plan, at least. Tvat tilted his head back to peer up at the dragon. We have a plan? Alright, Cass, I believe that is where you said to stop. So I hope you all appreciated Storytime. That is Revaramek the Resplendent. I did write it a long time ago. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I am going to take a quick break. And we'll be back to play some more Elden Ring. In the meantime, I will leave this up here so you guys can all enjoy it. The old donkey punch? Definitely not.